open up to questions for Coach Lawrence. Go ahead.
Can you talk about the team defense and AZ specifically? She had a couple plays with when Jackie Young and Chelsea Gray, where she really beat them up and made them take really difficult shots, and you guys held them as a team to 9 of 30 shooting overall.
Yeah, I thought, she did a really, really good job in the second half. Um, Vegas is tough to guard because they can get downhill, they can spread you out at the 3-point line, and again, having Asia Wilson and the positions that they put her in. Um, but yeah, I told our guys if we can come out of halftime and put up the points that we put up in the first half and just do some things differently defensively and just go one and out. And I think the biggest thing is when we got rebounds, we got out in transition, right? We got some cuts and some open threes, and that was big.
Alexa and Melissa.
Jose, when you look at the game against the Liberty, the game against it's obviously different opponents, but what are the through lines, considering that they're the last two defending champs that you were able to beat back to back that you've seen from the team and how they were able to, come out and be so successful?
Yeah, I think it's incredible resolve, right? Coming out of the halftime, we didn't play well, and it's an 8-point game. Just shows that we've done it with a lot of different lineups and with a lot of different people.
You mentioned those different lineups and different people. You went to Alicia Clark, I think in the second quarter. I think you put her in at the 4 to start with, and then she played quite a bit in the second half. What were you hoping to get from her when you first inserted her, and what did she show you when she was out there that kept her in the game?
Well, I think her headiness, her basketball IQ, and I think she does the right things and gets in the right spots. And it's almost like having another coach on the floor, right? And what she did, she hit a huge 3 in front of us, right? Late in the clock, she drew the foul to get to the free throw line, but she was in the right spots defensively on the other end.
Go Matt and Matt.
Jose, Asia is not going to go 10 for 24 a lot of nights. What was the interior defense doing to kind of frustrate her?
Well, she had a great first half. It looked like what she got, but, like you said, she's not going to have those type of nights, right? I thought, a walk at times with her length bothered her a little bit, but it's going to be seldom that she has those type of nights.
With Kennedy Carter specifically, she had 12 points in the first half, and then in the second half, you guys were able to hold her to just 2 points. So can you talk about that defensive adjustment that you guys made at halftime on her? We
just had to keep her in front of us. I thought she was getting downhill too many times, right? And she got going. We're down 8 at half, and I believe their bench had how many points that had at halftime?
I think that was 22.
Yeah, it was like 20. They had 22 or
22.
23 of their 50, whatever it was at halftime. That was a separator, right? But again, basketball is a game of runs and getting stops when you need them to. And we had a player. Look what Paige and AZ hit some huge shots. So Walks 2 threes, Clark's 3 in the corner. Jessica Shepard stat line 22, 20, and 10, first time in WNBA history. We wouldn't have that type of stat line. So there were a lot of individual performances, and Alicia Clark's what she did.
Grant Rashad.
It seems like there's really strong chemistry with Jessica Shepard and dribble handoffs and pick and roll. Just what stands out about her just as a decision maker and just offensive player in those situations?
It makes things easier because she's a big that can handle the basketball and get you into things, right? Especially when she gets it off the glass. We kept telling our guys when Jess gets it off the glass, let's get a great rim run. Let's fill the corners. Let's fill the slots. And it's programming now our guards. Usually you want your bigs to go ahead and rim run, right? So defenses have to defend from inside to outside. But her starting and initiating things was huge.
Of course, preseason or regular season and night and day. What are some of the things that you were able to carry over from Austin and some things you were able to exploit tonight?
Austin was a different, because we played so many people, right? And they also played a lot of people themselves, and minutes were different. But again, I think our players knowing that, having a little bit of confidence that we played them before, right? But I thought there was incredible energy as well in the building in the second half. And that's what you want at home.
Go Mike Van Aye.
Coach, you had such a ridiculously difficult schedule out the gates to begin the season, and not that you're done with that, but at least in these first 8 games, it's been incredibly difficult. Where are you compared to maybe where you expected to be at this point, 8 games into the season, not just from a record standpoint, but just from the way that your team is playing and how well they're playing given the competition you guys have faced
Probably
night in and
nobody,
night out?
probably nobody believed that we have 5 wins right now and the type of wins that we've had. But I think everybody in that locker room and the staff believed it.
Mine kind of connects to that. I think I remember Kurt saying like before the season, like give us some grace. You know, we have people coming in late. It's gonna take us a bit to put things together. What do you think has just contributed to things clicking so well so early on, especially with like the late arrivals and everything?
Well, I think we got some really, really good talent. We got some very, very good basketball players, you know. So it starts there, you know. I have an incredible team to coach and players to work with every day, and the more time that we spend together, we're not even close to how being at the level that I think we can be at. But to be at this point, 5-3, and our 3 losses, 2 to Atlanta and 1 in Minnesota, were, you know, in all 3 of those losses, we had leads in the fourth quarter. But you know, the type of schedule that we've played, no, I don't think anyone's played the type of schedule that we've played out of the gate, and the wins that we've collected so far. But again, it's having that next game mindset. We're off tomorrow. We'll come back. Really excited to get another practice. We'll just work on us, and then have a day to get ready for Seattle and a shoot around to start the Commissioner's Cup.
Dorothy in the car.
Coach, what did you like about the team's ball movement, like offensively? And then talk a little bit about Jessica and her, I guess her long-term success for this team. You know, like how she would fit in.
I think on the floor they did a really, really, really good job reading switches and getting the mismatches that we wanted, right? But we got 33 made field goals. How many of those assisted? Probably 23, right? There was more things off the bounce tonight.
Okay.
Wanted to circle back to the defense on Asia Wilson, at least in the second half. It felt like there was more kind of late help coming with her after she got into her move. I think just in general, how do you kind of drill that? How do you teach that? And how do you balance sending that help that late?
Yeah,
without
well, there's
giving
some
up
peel
the
switches on the backside, right? And it's a credit to you know, talking about that and timeouts, and David primarily works with the defense, and them responding it and getting it done, you know, because I think the pick and roll coverages, when they got guys that can, you know, get you on their hip and start to get downhill, and they hold you as shooters, where now the rotation becomes a multiple effort rotation. And they did that.
Go Melissa. And then Lauren.
You mentioned the 3 losses and having late leads, not being able to hold on to them in the last 2 games. You've come out with really strong third quarters and built leads in the second half. What has been kind of the difference for this team in being able to close strong compared to earlier in the season?
Yeah, because early on in the season, the third quarter hurt us, right? Those first 3, 4, 5 minutes, because we would lead at half, and then, so that's something that we've talked about. And the good thing is you want to start to correct those things, and I think we're headed in the right direction doing those.
AZ scored 20 points in back-to-back games. What have you seen out of her offensively? And she seemed, and especially tonight, she came out and she seemed really aggressive, looking for a shot, you know, cutting, running.
I don't, what do I see?
Yeah, what have you seen out of her offense in the last 2 games that's led to her success? You know,
She's
her
great. She
2
gets
high
her
scoring
spots. You know, she's very confident in her shot, and I think too, you know, her teammates find her, which they should, right? But what I like, people take away and they crowd her, that she can get to her spot, either going right or left, right? So I like seeing her being so aggressive, putting the ball on the deck like she has been when people, defend her off a stagger or off a floppy or off of a flare screen, which they did really good, right? We just got to sometimes be a little bit more patient, let her relocate to get back to like a pin down screen so we can get her in space again. Good question.
2 big threes from
A walk.
in the fourth quarter. Can you talk a little bit about those and just, how kind of electric that was in the building and
It
for
was huge, and I think especially how she defended on the other end. But for her size and being able to stretch the floor, because now she can go ahead and draw. Now with her stretching the floor, what does it do? It opens up the lane for back cuts and for us to get paint touches off the bounce.
You're good?
Coach, coming from college, you have a super young core. How much do you think that is an advantage, or is it an advantage at all to be able to kind of relate or talk to the girls?
Well, I mean, again, I've coached against a lot of the players in that locker room, being at a place for 25 years. But I think that you guys saw down the stretch, right, at the pace that we want to play, when we get out and run and we space the floor and get to our spots, we're tough to defend. But again, I enjoyed coaching this group. They're great to work with. There's incredible belief and playing for one another that you see now, and you can see now the conversations not only on the sideline but on the court. Players leading that kind of stuff. It's good.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.